Welcome back to the very best of the Oracle. In mid-February, we started to see signs of spring, but not the economies of the world, which continued to freeze over. The bankers were to blame, and some were calling for them to be carted off to Madame Guillotine in good old French style. I mean, what's your thought on the guillotining of these guys?
Well, you know, I think I'm getting the feeling that you're drifting towards sort of a Max Keiser guillotine in the middle of Times Square.
Branded.
Branded.
The Oracle guillotine.
Guys from Wall Street being taken in carts to that's what I'm...
Right here in Place Concord, where they did it 200 years ago.
No, they've done it before.
It's still looking good. Yes, Stacey, our predictions were getting bleaker and bleaker.
Max, it looks like Dubai did freeze over and Abu Dhabi bailed out Dubai. We were correct on that.
Absolutely correct.
Dubai has apparently been bailed out by Abu Dhabi, and I know that many leaders of Europe are, for example, traveling to Abu Dhabi asking for money from Abu Dhabi. Now, I looked into this because I know they have a $1 trillion sovereign wealth fund. On the Wikipedia, they're saying that the Abu Dhabi royal family is worth $33 trillion based on their sovereign wealth. So, can you put that into context?
Well,
I mean, could they...
I don't know. There are a lot of royals, so but that sounds like a lot of money. And look, you know, they better spend it before it's worthless if it's in dollars. And they're better off investing it in their own part of the world, in their own region. You know, why not invest it in Dubai and pick up the pieces there and get some bargains?
Here are the predictions. Number one. Are you ready, Stacey? Dubai closes long-term car park. Trapped and bankrupt property speculators seek sanctuary at the embassy. Well, it sounds like the old Vietnam days. Remember, they're trying to get out of Vietnam. Number two, Abu Dhabi buys Dubai. Well, it could be like Abu Dhabi Dubai. It sounds like an episode from the Flintstones. We visited Dubai, and it seemed like one of those toys that you put into a glass of water, a little sponge dinosaur that grows into 50 times its size in a matter of 10 seconds. That was Dubai.
Yeah.
And then the water dried up, and you've got nothing but a dried out, broken toy dinosaur.
They did have a neighbor, Abu Dhabi, who had a lot of dinosaurs in the shape of oil, which they were able to use their money from the oil.
Yes, remember, if I recall, actually, increasing the number of invisible pterodactyls was one of the suggestions of one of our guests. I believe it was Andy Saltzman.
It was Andy Saltzman.
Who said there's not enough imaginary pterodactyls in the mix of policy initiatives by the central banks. This is fascinating. In other words, all the wealth of the past 10, 15 years, the Greenspan era, was an illusion. Andy, yes or no? What? It's an illusion?
Yes, but I think this is probably the best way to go about it. Pretend money is much more satisfying than real money. And in many ways, it's better to live in an illusory world. If you've got two men, one of whom thinks he's about to be eaten by a pterodactyl but isn't, and the other who doesn't think he's about to be eaten by a pterodactyl but is, that latter man is going to be happier and therefore spend more of his money boosting the economy. So we need more fiction in economics if we want to get out of the problems that fiction has got us into.
More imaginary pterodactyls, if I understand correctly.
But you'll find very few politicians who have the courage to go with a policy like that.
Yeah, well, I can't imagine down there at the dispatch box in the House of Commons we need more imaginary pterodactyls.
We predicted that quantitative easing would also begin happening, and this is the central bankers flooding the economy with cash, and the UK is the first to start this. Really? So our prediction, central banker faces criminal charges as quantitative easing goes horribly wrong.
All quantitative easing is inflation. It's just the government's printing money and buying stuff, buying bonds, buying mortgage-backed securities, buying credit card debt. It's just a euphemism for inflation. Whenever they talk about quantitative easing, all they're saying is we want more inflation. We want to create inflation, and that's the wrong thing to be doing.
Oh yeah, baby, hit me with a prediction. Here it is. Central banker faces criminal charges as, quote, quantitative easing goes horribly wrong. Wow, that's startling. My God. What do you think, Peter Schiff? Alan Greenspan arrested, drawn, quartered, tarred, feathered? What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. I hope he lives long enough to actually appreciate all the damage that he's done. You know, I mean, he was really the orchestrator of this collapse. And I've said that Ben Bernanke, Ben Bernanke is giving him a run for his money in the race for the worst central banker ever. I still say that Greenspan is ahead of Bernanke, but I don't know. It's going to be a close call by the end of the day, but maybe they can both end up in jail.
Here it is.
Into the basket.
This is the economic model. of the Greenspan era. It's called blowing bubbles. This is all that they did for 25 years after Reagan became president. Blowing bubbles. Well, then.